Hello everyone, welcome to Crypto Whales Academy. As it was promised, we are here again with a new course, and as the name suggests, in this course we'll learn about different types of indicators, their functionality and their accuracy to see how much are they reliable to base an analysis. Before starting our first session, there are a few points that you need to know. Some of you who have been working with us for a long time know that our trading system is price action, and the crypto signals that Crypto Whales Analysis Department issues on our Telegram channel are all based on price action system. The point is, in this system, the price has the highest priority. I mean, price action traders believe that the price is the origin, and thus my analysis is based on the origin, which makes my analysis accurate enough. But on the other hand, once we come to use indicators, we do not put the price in priority anymore. It's going to be, totally clear for you actually at the end of this session, so don't get worried if it seems a little bit confusing at first. The only point is that price action trading system puts the price in priority, and it's the price that plays the major role during an analysis. But once an indicator is applied on the chart, and an analysis is started to be based on that, the price is not the priority in that analysis. The second point is that indicators cannot be used solely in order to proceed an analysis. Indicators indeed can be used to confirm your analysis and give your analysis more credibility. Your analysis would be flawless if you apply indicators besides price action analysis, about which we have talked about in the Market Touch course. I've seen lots of people who are just applying a couple of indicators on the chart and start opening positions, relying on them. And they are nagging most of the times about the failure of their analysis. Those of you who have watched our Market Touch course know that we didn't tell one single point about indicators, and it's because, the price action method that we've covered in that course is sufficient enough to proceed an analysis. But you can use indicators to validate your analysis once more. Now, let's get down to business. Before going and using the indicators and getting familiar with them, it's necessary to know what indicators are, and more importantly, what are they made of. Indicators are actually a set of indexes that investigates the information about price and volume and some other factors in a specific time frame and shows a number based on these factors. Thus, the output that we see after applying an indicator is composed of price level, which is also the input, and some other parameters in that mathematical formula. Some parts of these mathematical formulas can be edited by us. In other words, they are variables which can be set by our side. But some parts of these formulas are static and cannot be changed. This is important to know that one of the inputs is the price. So they are attached to the price, but due to the fact that they are applying some other factors on the price, they are actually, in the second layer of price. For this reason, I mentioned that by applying indicators, price is not priority anymore. Please come to my screen to see how to use indicators now. Okay, you see a button called indicators here, and when we click on it, you can see a list of indicators here. You can also see that there's a section called My Scripts, here, which means you can write your own indicator if you want to. And here is the list of my favorite indicators, which will be covered during this course. If you remember, I've mentioned earlier that by using indicators, we are getting farther from the price. Or, in other words, by using indicators, we are moving to the second layer of price analysis. Now it's time to make it more tangible for you, as I promised earlier. Let's go to my screen again to start with the first useful indicator. I'm coming to the indicators section here and type Zig Zag, which is also one of my favorites. It's one of the most popular and useful tools to distinguish tops and bottoms of a trend. Here, once we open the settings of Zig Zag, we see that there are a number of inputs. We've already learned that indicators are getting data as input, then they perform some mathematical calculations, and the output will be some pieces of information that we need. The main inputs here are price deviation, the first one, and pivot legs, as you can see. A key point that you need to consider here is that these numbers should vary based on your time frame. The lower amount you enter here, the more sensitive you make it toward the changes. For example, I keep number 1. I enter number 1 here and I keep the pivot at 10. And look at my zigzag here. This is my zigzag. Okay, now let's make the deviation 10 and check the results. A little bit changes are occurred here. You see, now let me change it a little bit more. Let's make it, for example, 40. Here the changes are totally evident. You see, once I want to find the tops and bottoms of a trend, only and only main tops and bottoms are necessary for me, and I don't need the indicator to find all tops and bottoms like this one. I actually don't need this. So what I want to say is that we need to be very careful about entering these amounts, entering these numbers here, otherwise the result of our analysis would come out false. As you see, my time frame is in daily here, so it's better to keep my deviation on 10, and I prefer keep the pivot on 15. Let's check the result now. It's somehow good, it's fine. As you see, only the major tops and bottoms are chosen here, and not all of them, even though it might be a little bit detailed for you though, but it's totally fine for me here. If you are a scalper and you are checking the chart in smaller time frames, it will be useful for you to set your deviation on 5 and keep the pivot leg on 10. And I'm making it 1 hour so that you can see it's much more better here. It's totally on the it's totally recognizing the main tops and bottoms here. So now let's make it daily again, but to change this, let's make it 20 and keep this one 10. It would be much more summarized here. Zigzag has some other options that can be useful sometimes during your analysis. If you pay attention to the latest part of my chart, let me make the time frame a little bit smaller so that would be much more clear for you. Yeah, if you pay attention to this part of my chart, you can see that the zigzag hasn't been composed yet. It's because the indicator is not certain whether it's a top, bottom, or none of them. But if you are sure that the last bar is either top or bottom, you can ask the indicator to extend the zigzag until the latest bar for you. So, in order to do this, we come to the settings of zigzag and check the first option, extend to the last bar, and here you can see that a new line is drawn to this area so that you can easily draw your support and resistance lines accordingly. You can see the price of tops and bottoms by also checking display reversal price. Here you can see the numbers are emerged and they are actually the prices of tops and bottoms. This option is highly used in smaller time frames to recognize the points that price has shown reaction to. In this regard, we have also talked about in our course to find these vital areas through different time frames. I don't check this option myself most of the times because, it makes my chart untidy. It's not a sign of profession to have lots of drawings and numbers on your chart. Try to have a neat and tidy chart so that your analysis would be more accurate as well. And, avoid inserting these options that may create disorder in the chart's appearance. We are not here to fill the blanks and show to everyone, look, how professional am I that I'm analyzing in this, leader chart. We are here to have an accurate analysis and earn money from this market. It may sound strange, but most of the professional traders' chart are almost empty without any extra drawings or numbers. Let's get to back my screen again. Coming to the settings of Zig Zag, and let me uncheck it for you, and checking display cumulative volume here, you can see the amount of volume entered in peaks is shown here. Unlike the previous one, knowing volumes in tops or bottoms is necessary, as it will help us to discern how much important is that area. Let me make it daily time frame so that you can see here in all tops and bottoms you can see the amount of volume which is entered. If the volume is high in any of these picks, the probability of entering smart money gets higher and makes the area remarkable. Relying on what I've said earlier about having a tidy chart, I don't want to have these numbers, as they are getting really on my nerves. But on the other hand, it's important for me to know the volume in each level of price. So I've unchecked that. And in order to see the volume, let's go to indicators section, and here is called volume. You can also type volume here, and it's applied on my chart, but in a much more practical way. Here, the inflow and outflow volume is totally clear for me without littering my chart. To sum it up, in this session, we learned the functionality of indicators, how are they made of, and two of the most frequently used indicators called zigzag and volume. Zigzag is highly used, especially by most of the amateur traders, to recognize support and resistance areas of the price in various time frames. The next session, we are going to talk about moving averages, which are also one of the most popular indicators used by a number of price action traders. So, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications to be the first to see our second session about moving averages. Have a nice day, trade bravely.